What's up, Virgo? Welcome to your September 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. Happy birthday as well to those of you Virgo suns out there. I hope your season is going amazing so far for you and that all your birthday wishes and hopes come true. Let's get into your reading, but just in case you're new here, I just always like to say really quickly that my readings tend to focus on creativity, self-empowerment, and spirituality. So if those areas of life are something that you're focusing on, definitely keep listening. Also, you can use this reading for your sun, moon, or your rising sign. Sometimes they don't resonate. That's totally normal too. All right, Virgo, while I was tuning in for you, I got such a strong energy coming forward. I don't know what it is, if it's the fact that it's your season or if it's just something about you at this time in your life, but I really felt so much strength radiating off of you. I feel like you're just really tapping into your inner reserves of confidence and you're feeling really rooted in yourself. While I was tuning in, I was given an image that really kind of made me, it gave me chills. It was like of a really massive boat, like an old-fashioned ship, like a wooden ship. And it was coming into harbor. And there was all of this excitement around the fact that this ship was kind of coming in. It was like a great feeling of celebration. It could have been maybe that the ship was coming home from a long journey, or maybe that it was making landfall and bringing maybe very needed supplies or something like that. But it was a very positive event from what I could tell in the meditation. It felt very, everyone like on the docks was just like cheering, and like the people on the ship were like, yeah, like everything was just, it felt really, really good. So I'm not sure what that exactly means for you, Virgo, in your own life, but it does feel like some element of this archetypal energy is present and relevant for you in some way in your life at this time. So let's go ahead and take a look at your tarot cards, and we will get some more information for you. Virgo, clear living guidance for Virgo. There we go. Okay. And we're also going to get your Animal Spirit Oracle cards as well. And we're going to get your Bob Ross message. Virgo. And I'll also get you a couple of Oracle cards this month. This is the Sacred Destiny Oracle deck. So for Virgo, clear living guidance for Virgo. Okay, so let's take a look at your path and obstacle cards. So your path is the bat, and the obstacle is the hyena. Wow, fascinating. So this is funny because what I kind of get when I look at the bat card, and it's interesting that both of these cards have moons on them. So this is significant for a number of astrological reasons. Being that this is your season, Virgo, You're going to have your new moon in your sign later in the month of September. And you also have a full moon in Pisces at the beginning of September, which, because it's the opposite of your sign, that also tends to be a pretty significant time for you. So this is already kind of immediately cluing us in that the astrology is going to be a big part of your reading and a big influence on your energies that you have coming up in September. The thing that I felt though when I first saw the bat was like almost that image of like the bats coming out of a cave, right? Like something's rushing out, something is being exposed, something is coming out into the open. And that's really something that I get strongly with the bat. In this case, it feels almost it's funny, but it almost feels like warrior-like, which is not typically what we think of when we think of Virgo. You know, Virgo is the Virgin, Virgo is Demeter, Virgo kind of carries all of these archetypes of like the Divine Mother and also, you know, the virginal birth and virgins in general, like just that sense of purity and clarity of intention, you know, that comes with all of this symbolism. And it's definitely known to be one of the gentler signs. But in this case, like I almost feel like when I look at this bat, it's like you're spreading your wings in some way, Virgo, and you are, I want to say, embarking on some kind of a project or some kind of a way of expressing yourself or some kind of, I guess, initiative that feels almost warrior-like, or that is, it's like you have a mission. I don't know, like that's what it feels like, Virgo. It feels like you have some kind of mission, whether that's for someone close to you that you're just like, you know what, I'm going to handle this situation, or I'm going to make something happen for my kids or in my business, or, you know, even just in more of like an activist type of way. There's just something that you really care about, and there's something that you're trusting your intuition fully to help you, you know, move in the direction of it. And I think this energy is probably igniting very quickly in the month of September because the full moon in Pisces is on, it's either on the 1st or the 2nd. I guess it depends on where you are in the world. But that's like right away kicking off the energy of September for you, and it's pretty significant. Now, the obstacle to this is the hyena, which when I see the hyena card as an obstacle or an influence card, which in this case it does feel like it's more of an obstacle, is really just like negative feedback or criticism from others. A lot of times when we see the hyena card as an obstacle, it represents our fear that somebody is going to respond negatively to what we are doing. So for example, like maybe if you're part of a writing group that meets over Zoom, I guess most people are not meeting up in person right now, but like if you're part of some kind of group that's very creative, you might be worried about getting negative feedback on one of your pieces. Or if you are an online entrepreneur, you might be sharing something that you're worried that your audience may not really resonate with or might criticize, or you just may feel like there's something that could expose you to just some kind of harsher energies. But at the same time, like the bat card feels to me very determined. It feels like you're really spreading your wings and kind of doing something anyway, even though you know, like with anything, you know, there's the potential for negative feedback and there's the potential for negativity just in the environment. We have a lot of negativity going on in the astral at the moment and throughout, you know, 2020, but particularly at the moment right now, it's very, very thick with negativity and judgments and kind of fear-based thinking, which is making it more difficult for a lot of creators to actually do their thing. I personally have seen multiple comedians and people that I have felt such respect for just shut down their channels, just, you know, not feeling like they can actually speak or, you know, do their craft right now because the environment is just so full of hatred and so full of criticism, such harsh criticism, cancel culture, and all of that. And whatever you think of it, you know, you might think that that's a good thing, you might be neutral, or you might think that it's maybe a potentially more of a negative thing. But I think it's important just to recognize that, like, there are these energies in the collective at the moment, and that for some people, you know, even good people who don't have any negative intentions are bearing the brunt of negativity in the environment. People who are just naturally a little bit more sensitive or a little bit more shy are feeling even more so that way because everybody's getting attacked right now for every little thing that they say. So there is a potential for, you know, you to be afraid on some level of that, but I also don't think it's really going to stop you, Virgo. And maybe that's not even like what you're fearful of. It could just be like something related to generally expressing yourself at all, even with family, or even just, you know, sharing your art or your paintings or something like that. That's not likely to, you know, draw a lot of negative energy your way, but still it's something that feels intimidating to do because maybe you haven't done it before, or you are just opening yourself up to creative criticism or artistic criticism. But I think you're going to do it anyway. That's really what I feel. So let's take a look at your cards. Wheel of Fortune and the Strength card. Beautiful. We've got the Hierophant. Oh no, this is the Emperor in this deck. It really looks like like it would be the Hierophant to me. Maybe there's some kind of message with that too. We have the Queen of Cups in reverse with the Ace of Pentacles, the Lovers, Four of Wands, and the Devil in reverse. So there's a couple of things in this reading that really look to me about kind of subverting authority in a way and embracing your own ability to create. And this authority could be parental authority if you're a younger person or if you live at home. It could be authority in the case of like teachers that you have, right? Because I kept thinking like that has to be the Hierophant, even though the glyph for it looked like it was it's number 4, which is the Emperor, but it just really looked like the Hierophant to me. So there could be something with the teachers, parental figures, even just like other positions of authority that you have in your life, maybe guardians, legal guardians, or, you know, bosses, managers. I just get this sense that like you're kind of taking some risks in your life at this time, Virgo, and it is like you're almost kind of voluntarily facing some kind of challenge that requires you to sort of subvert authority a little bit, or you're kind of like bucking the status quo, because you've got the Emperor and the Queen of Cups in reverse here, and that to me really speaks of these people who have like a prominence to them, but they're both in reverse. And I don't, at the immediate sense, I don't really get the feeling that these cards represent you, Virgo. So let's just start week by week, and we'll kind of try and get a sense of like the flow of these energies. Now, the first week, remember I said you have that full moon in Pisces, which is your 7th house. And you've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse with the Strength card. So you're bringing about some kind of great change in your life, Virgo. And I think that the cards are really saying, like, lean on your strength. Remember how I think I even said that in the meditation, that you just felt really strong to me. And then, you know, your second card of the month, you've got Strength. So it's like she's leaning on the lion. So she's not trying to do it alone. She's leaning on the lion, which is, you know, her heart, basically, her heart's strength, but also maybe her guides, her mentors from the past, or higher spiritual energies that you may be working with, Virgo. It could also be like even book characters that have inspired you, and like leaning on the lessons that you've learned from like fiction. I don't know why that's coming through, but it is. And I feel like the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is saying like things are breaking down in certain ways, but it's all happening according to like a very interesting synchronicity. It's all, things might be breaking down, but it's all part of an overarching theme or pattern in your life. And so the cards are asking you to stay strong in what you're doing and to back yourself up and to recognize that sometimes, you know, the seasons do change, and it's okay to embrace that and to be strong and to make your best moves possible when the wheel is turning, you know, and something might be breaking down. Like you could be working at a company that's going through kind of like a rough time or something like that. And so the things are changing around you in the world, and the Strength card is saying, but you are competent, Virgo. Life may be changing a lot, but you are adaptable, right? So it's like almost like it doesn't really matter because you have the inner resources to work with it. And the second week of September, you've got the Emperor and the Queen of Cups, and they're both in reverse. So I think this is kind of about bucking negative expectations or bucking negative authority from your life. And maybe these are like parental figures or the voice of negative parents or teachers from your past, and you're kind of like recognizing that whatever their influence was, while there may have been some good things about it, it's not really relevant anymore. Like the rules of the past don't necessarily apply in the present, right? Like this is about some kind of an acceptance, a voluntary acceptance of personal responsibility that you're not passing off onto the system or onto others. I feel like in the second week, it's like maybe you have to disagree with some people that you really respect, or maybe you have to go against the well-meaning guidance and insight given to you by somebody from your past. And I feel like it's super important for you to just trust yourself and to think about things really clearly, weigh all of your options, but then just do what you need to do regardless of whether or not it is kind of the being stamped with the official stamp of approval from like outside authority figures. Because I think that you could have like maybe a little bit of disagreement with perhaps a man and a woman. But I also feel like, you know, part of you claiming your sovereignty is really about doing your own thing, you know? And so I think it's important for you to be able to do that and to give yourself permission to do that. The Ace of Pentacles and the Lovers card. So the Ace of Pentacles is in reverse, and then you have the Lovers, which to me represents the ability to create your own existence in a lot of ways, because as we mature, you know, into adults, one of the big markers for like us being able to generate our own kind of universe and on a physical level, that's like, you know, the power to start a family in a way, because a family or a household is its own kind of little universe. It's its own little country in a way, where there's like unique little rules, unique perceptions, a unique story within each, you know, family or within each household. And so the fact that when you are an adult, you can, you know, and you're married or whatever, you have the physical capacity to kind of start your own little world in that way. And so that's one of the ways that I really look at the Lovers card. It comes with a great amount of responsibility, and it comes with a great deal of creative potential. And it can, of course, relate to romance in some readings as well, but that's a very mundane read on the card. So the Ace of Pentacles coming up in reverse with the Lovers, I think it's possible that in the third week of September, which is approximately when we have that new moon in Virgo, right around that time, you've got this sense of kind of like, I want to say, possibly something being drawn from, like something within maybe a relationship that you're in. The Ace of Pentacles in reverse is kind of, to me, it almost seems like there could be a loss, or there could be something that's unexpected, but it's not like super harsh. I want to make that really clear. Like the Ace of Pentacles, it's like maybe you guys are choosing not to do something. it's like normally the aces show the hand giving you something, but here it's reversed. So it's not necessarily that something's being taken away, but it's like something that you've been thinking about doing ends up you kind of scrap the idea or you put it off to the side. That's kind of what I see. It's maybe not that you're never going to do it, but I feel like something else is taking priority over another thing that you've been thinking about. So if you're a Virgo and you've been like toying between a couple of different business ideas, let's say, but ultimately you realize that you're, in the third week of September, it's like, okay, no, this path has a lot more potential for me. I'm going to have to say no to this idea that I've been kind of like floating around in the back of my mind for a while. You kind of just have to prioritize. That's a big word, I think, for you in the third week of September is priorities. Prioritize, 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 Virgo. That third week of September is going to be about narrowing down your options so that you can go deeper into the option that is going to yield the most fruit to you, right? Like this is like, okay, maybe you have 3 different business ideas, and then one of them, which is symbolized by the Lover's card, ends up being the one that can take you the furthest. And you just get that clarity in the third week. So if you have been kind of dancing around with like different ways of approaching something, I think you're going to get the clarity that you need in the third week of September. And it could also be that you're getting that clarity in part because you're realizing that something doesn't have as much resources available, or something changes that does maybe limit your options from the outside. But I think that ultimately it's for your best benefit, Virgo. So if there is something like that where like your options get narrowed by some practical purpose or for some practical reason, don't be discouraged by that. Don't take that as a sign that like things aren't working out, because it's actually putting you on a more narrow track, which helps guide you towards something that is actually going to be better for you in the long run. The fourth week of September, we've got the Four of Wands and the Devil card in reverse. So what I want to say here is mind your agreements, Virgo. There's something that can happen when we have the Devil card coming up with the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands represents commitments. And it represents things that we have agreed to be a part of, such as like maybe, traditionally it's thought of as like a marriage card, but it could also be agreements that you've made with business partners. It could be contracts. It could also be domestic situations, living situations, rental agreements, because it also has a very strong tendency to relate to matters of house and home as well. So this is a really broad area of life that I'm kind of describing here, but I think you can kind of get where I'm going with this, that something that you've agreed to or some kind of understanding that you have with another person may be tested in the last week of September. And this is kind of an interesting thing, because I feel like with the Devil card, sometimes the Devil card represents like things that we're afraid of or things that we don't want to face, and things maybe within ourselves. We could call it our shadow, or we could call it, our things that we have a difficult time recognizing about ourselves, but that we can see more easily in others. That's all like the shadow stuff. That's all the Devil stuff. The Devil also kind of represents the material existence and the limitations of material existence. So, in a way, it's almost like at the end of the month, your ideals, which you have contracted yourself out based on, right, with the Four of Wands, like your ideal might be to be a really great husband or wife, or your ideal might be to engage in certain activities on a daily basis in your business, and you kind of measure your success by like how well you're able to take care of all of those needs and all of those responsibilities. And so I think like there's something about your commitments that you've made in the past that are being tested. So for example, as a business owner, you could be realizing that it's hard to keep up with the promises that you've made with either your customers or with your client base or your business partner or something like that. And so if that's the case, you just need to communicate it, Virgo. If something's getting overwhelming for you, or if something that you've agreed to in the past is becoming too challenging, you need to just be honest about that and let the other person know. Or, just be communicative in general, because I feel like there's something here at the end of the month where it's a really good thing, I feel, for you. It's something that's giving you more clarity about like what your real capabilities are and what your needs are. But in a way, it's almost like you're realizing that something's not quite working, because you're almost, with the Devil card in reverse, you're slipping into like a fear-based view of things, or like you're slipping into a feeling of losing control. But I think that is actually something that you need to experience. It's like you will gain a lot more insight and a lot more empowerment by being able to just become aware of that you're doing that in some way, and then just communicate about it to someone else, because that's really that's the whole thing, is really just communicating, being on the same page. And when you do that, I think the problem is able to kind of disperse. Some others of you may be looking around at the end of September and really feeling passionate about doing something that you haven't been doing lately. And it could be in your, like I said, your art or your creativity. You might be wanting to return to something that isn't part of your normal routine. And in that sense, you could be feeling burdened by the responsibilities that you have. And in that case, again, it comes down to just communication and restructuring your routine so that you can continue to fit in joy into your life and not be chained to the same way of doing things, Virgo. I feel like that's the potential difficulty, is that you could feel like that. But I also feel like, the medicine is there too, is just to acknowledge that that's how you're feeling and take action to remedy it. Let's take a look at your oracles, because I feel like they're going to give us more information, and I just looked at this one and I do think that it will. Okay, so your surrender card is surrender unhealthy relationships. So surrender unhealthy relationships, Virgo. Let go of relationships that don't serve you, including unavailable or toxic people. You deserve to be treasured by others and to be surrounded by positive people. So yeah, I think this could also be part of what's going on at the end of the month, is you're recognizing that something in your environment may not be as positive of an influence as you previously thought, or maybe as it was in the past. And I think it's time to really take some action and communicate, or at least set some boundaries at the end of the month. Wow. Your Sacred Destiny Oracle card is blessings. So this looks really beautiful. I think you are blessed and protected, even, when you do have some difficult things to, kind of communicate or deal with at the end of the month. I think, you are genuinely really on the right track, Virgo, and you are protected and blessed. This just gives me a lot of joy. It gives me a sense that you're really taken care of, and that, things are moving in the right direction for you. So your Bob Ross message is, look around, look at what we have. Beauty is everywhere. You only have to look to see it. Absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, Virgo, I think it is about kind of stopping to smell the roses once in a while, giving yourself permission to do that, especially when you are engaging on such a courageous path. I think you're really clearing a path forward for yourself right now, and I feel like that is probably what's giving you a little bit of anxiety, but you're kind of just doing it anyway. So I applaud you for that. You're doing really, really well, and just go for it. Just follow your independence, follow your truth, Virgo. I think that is really the most important thing. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this reading has been beneficial for you in some way. If you would like to support my channel, I will put the information to donate. Any amount, even just $1, is fantastic and so helpful. If you'd like to just leave me a comment below and let me know you're still with me, you can leave me a little earth emoji. I love that one for you guys, and that would just be so sweet. Or you can just write earth in the comments. I would absolutely love to see that, and it's super helpful for my channel as well. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any future readings. And I wish you an amazing month in September. Happy birthday once again. Sending you tons of love, and I will talk to you next time.